Okay, what's going on, guys? And welcome to a brand new episode of Energized. Roscoe, we're back.
We are back. We're never gone for too long, my friend. We're never gone for too long. This
My
week, we're going to
friend.
bring you all the MMA news. We're going to talk about, obviously, Joshua versus Fury being announced. 2 fights agreed. We're going to talk all about that. We're going to talk about Fight Island. Last weekend's UFC. This weekend's UFC. Get ready for a fight. Osmo, how's the form?
I'm good, man. Do you know what? Like, as much as I love doing the football shows, I always love doing the MMA shows as well.
You know, I actually love doing them both equally. I always find the football show was a bit more opinion based, and then I think the fight show is a bit more. You're almost like guiding a storyline in the fight game.
Yeah. Like, do you know what? I was just watching a video with Stephen A. Smith and how Joe Rogan was like, if he doesn't know what he's talking about, he shouldn't be doing it. And then I was sort of like, I don't really overly know what I'm talking about as well, but I sort of create stories that could turn out possible, like creating possibilities for people that don't really know stuff, what they could be looking out for, you know?
Yeah, but you might not 100% know what they're doing, maybe like in the cage or whatever. But like you know more than most. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like you've been covering for like 4 years now. So like you're probably still in the mindset of, oh, I'm that guy who like went to the McGregor fight, being like, what's this?
yeah,
As opposed to like where you're at now. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And
Well,
also you remember like weird stuff that like I'm like, what?
yeah, well, like,
You know what I mean?
no one really knows as much as Joe Rogan, but Stephen A. Smith is like bluffing just straight to millions of people on ESPN, you know?
Yeah, but I feel like Stephen A. Smith like walks in the morning, they're like going to be like, right, you love LeBron today. It's like, right, the other person actually really does like LeBron. So today you're going to say you don't like LeBron. It's like,
Yeah.
he's like, no matter what it is, I'll say what I want to say.
Yeah, well, I think we have a good dynamic because you know like a lot, so
Mm.
yeah, I have to sort of get it out of you for
Mm.
the show to do well. I see that's the dynamic. If both of us are both so into it, I don't know if it really works that well.
Mm.
Same way like the Fighter and the Kid used to work well, you know what I mean? Whereas Brian Callen didn't have a clue and Brendan Schaub
Mm.
would know everything. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah,
it's
but it
good.
was funny because Brian Callen used to sometimes not watch the fights and then he'd be like caught out.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But
Ross, yeah. First of all, if you are new to the show, make sure to hit a like, hit a comment, and make sure to subscribe because we're nearly on 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, nearly, and on Spotify if you're listening in, we're nearly on 500 subscribers as well, or followers, whatever it's called. But make sure to hit that follow button as well. And if you're listening on iTunes, how's it going? Make sure to subscribe and give us a 4-star rating. You could give us a 5 if you're generous. But Ross, I think we should start off with the boxing because like the biggest fight that has been announced possibly ever in our lifetime, Fury versus Joshua, it's going down, 2-fight contract. We have to start off with the main thing that hit the headlines when Tyson Fury thanked Daniel Kinahan, a notorious man from Ireland, for creating this fight. People are obviously tuning in now, not to hear anything else but this. So how do we start off this show?
well,
The main
look, Tyson Fury is linked with MTK Global, who were originally called MGM, but I think the hotel sort of threatened to sue them over imagery rights. I don't blame them because their logos are actually similar enough as well. And Daniel Kinahan seems to be the man behind that. They've come out and sort of said, oh, he's not really behind it, but I think everyone knows he is behind it. He's sort of linked up. His father is called Chrissy Kinahan. He's the head of the Kinahan cartel, as they're referred to. They're probably one of Europe's biggest drug cartels, or alleged drug cartels. And he seems to be trying to make a legit name for himself in the boxing game. He has teamed up and since this teamed with the people who run Brave in Bahrain. So, look, it'd be interesting to see how involved he is. Bob Arum says, look, everyone sort of has a shady past, but, you know, he got the job done and he thinks he's very intelligent. And, you know, I suppose he must be very, very intelligent if he is supposedly linked with this drug cartel. I don't know how much he has involvement or how much his dad has an involvement, but I suppose the most famous thing, if you're from Ireland listening from it, is the sort of Kinahan Hutch feud, and that seems to be going on at the moment. So that sort of brings the Daniel Kinahan aspect into it. Look, I don't know how involved he was getting the deal over the line. I don't know whether he rolled up to a meeting with like a Rolex for everybody in the audience. He was the Ryan Tuberty of the show. But look, at the end of the day, you know what? Even Leo Varadkar was like, "Oh, Sky Sports shouldn't be showing this because of his involvement." I don't know whether he's going to get less involved now. I don't know whether he was just involved in the deal. But I am really excited to see the sporting aspect side of this.
Yeah, I was laughing because I'm sort of like, you don't want to say the wrong thing here, you know, because you know how it is, and also it's just myself and Ross doing this, and then if like we have to
if Tyson Fury knocks up to the gap,
yeah,
I'm like he said it.
Yeah, but we've also had previous MTK fighters on the show as well.
Yeah,
like it's like this is these lads' livelihood, and we want to have them again on the show as well. So like if like we're not we're not interested here on how we are interested in how the deals are done, but we're more interested in seeing the fights actually happening. So
we're more interested in the sporting aspect of it. Look, if
he also represents Darren Till as well.
Yeah, one thing I will say, you know, Leo Varadkar came out and was sort of against the whole thing. But if you really are so against it, or you think he is such a bad guy, instead of saying Sky Sports, you should ban this, why don't they do a better job of actually trying to catch him in the act, doing something wrong? You know what I mean?
That's the thing,
not saying he hasn't done anything wrong or has done anything wrong, but like instead of being like trying to like rob from, why don't you catch him in the act or do a better job of like stopping him push drugs around the country? Then don't show us fight on Sky Sports.
Yeah, like when I saw that on the newspapers, and I was like, this is just going to make people more interested. And it's already the biggest boxing match that we're going to see probably for a long, long time. And I was talking about this the other day, how boxing has had this problem where there's so many people that run it. Whereas in the UFC, it's like the two best fight each other, full stop. Whereas in boxing, it's like, will it be on the Zone, or will it be on Sky, or will it be on ESPN? There's so many people. I want to be the A side, want to be the B. Well, don't want to be the B side. There's so much politics in it. Like for instance, Floyd Mayweather against Manny Pacquiao, that almost came 5 years too late. Now we actually have this fight that everyone has been asked for. I was looking back through our videos. We had this video, Fury versus Joshua is the fight the fans want, and now we're after getting it. So it's huge news. Leo Varadkar saying that this fight shouldn't be shown on Sky is bringing more attention to it. And to be honest, at the end of the day, everyone wants to see this. And the fight isn't even happening in Ireland. It's going to end up happening in Dubai. And Ireland doesn't really have a say in this.
No, it really, really doesn't. And I think this fight's going to probably take place in either Dubai or Saudi Arabia. I know it's there's sort of a rematch guaranteed regardless who the winner is. Yeah. But I see this taking place over somewhere in the Middle East. Sure, Joshua fought Ruiz in Saudi Arabia. Tyson Fury fought Braun Strowman in WWE in Saudi Arabia. I was actually going to say Cain Velasquez first, but he fought Brock Lesnar. Yeah. So, look, I think that's the fight. But there's, there is some stumbling blocks coming into this fight, Basmo.
Yeah, well, hold on for a second. When I said Dubai, I meant I actually meant Saudi Arabia.
Well, it could be in Dubai.
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, it was just more that direction I meant. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, but it could go into that like Ferrari Dome Arena in Dubai. That's on the same island that Yaz Island. It's on the Yaz Island. It's on the same UFC.
Yeah,
place. So who knows?
Leo Varadkar did write a letter to the people that are associated with Daniel Keenan and MTK in Bahrain, and then they're after cutting ties with them as well with MTK. So this is going to go on for ages and ages and ages. But as you said, there is some stumbling blocks in the build up to this. Do you want to tell us exactly what it is?
Yeah, so Tyson Fury still has to do his rematch, his trilogy fight with Deontay Wilder. Obviously, Tyson Fury looked incredible in that last fight. He'll be a heavy favourite going into the third one. But Deontay Wilder still does have that knockout punch. He put Fury on his back in the 12th round of the first fight. And who's to say Wilder can't land a lucky punch? You know what I mean? And if one person can land a lucky punch, it's Deontay Wilder. He's done it 40 out of 43 times in his career. You know what I mean? So maybe it's a bit harsh to call it lucky. Also, Dillian White is a mandatory challenger for the WBC heavyweight title, which is the belt that Tyson Fury has, and he's supposed to get that fight in by February 2021. So Fury might have to beat Deontay Wilder and Dillian Whyte before the first Joshua fight takes place. Now, the only caveat to that is that Dillian Whyte is also managed by Eddie Hearn. So who knows whether Dillian Whyte will be given a big chunk of change to take a back seat on that one. In terms of Anthony Joshua, he's still scheduled to fight Pulev. I think that's obviously the least tall of the three tasks to do. So all the heavy lifting seems to still be on Tyson Fury's side. But again, when you're talking about the A side and the B side of the fight, you know what I mean, and they're undecided on whose name goes first. Obviously, Anthony Joshua has more belts. He has 4 belts. Tyson Fury is the lineal heavyweight champion. He's also the WBC champion. He's also undefeated. So, you know, there's an argument on there for both. I don't think either fighter would be like, I'll take less money to be the A side or to have their name up on the poster first. But for me, going into the fight, I think Tyson Fury will end up being the A side if he has to run through Wilder and run through Whyte, because they're 2 massive fights, and he's going to have 2 huge pay-per-views before fighting Joshua, and then Joshua's only going to fight Pulev, which I'm sure will do decent pay-per-view numbers, because I'm sure Anthony Joshua always does decent pay-per-view numbers, but I don't think it would do Wilder Fury pay-per-view numbers.
Yeah, I actually think it's going to be the A side. It's going to be Joshua because he has more belts. And I think part of the negotiations would have been you could be A side, but like Fury I think Fury was willing to accept any sort of terms within reason to get this.
Yeah, well, I think if the money's 50-50, well then Fury's happy enough to be A side, B side, and then obviously the rematch, the winner will be the A side.
Yeah, so this was negotiated to go down in 2021. So there is a possibility of 2 fights happening. There's definitely going to be one. I can't see Deontay Wilder accepting a payoff not to have this fight. So when do you sort of think that we can look forward to Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder Part 3?
Maybe later this year. Maybe we'll get, you know, October, November. Fury's staying very fit at the moment. That's one thing that you know about him. He's doing his online Instagram live fitness classes.
That's absolutely brilliant, by the way. That's brilliant for him.
Well, it's great for him because it means staying in shape. He's staying smart. He's keeping the mind clear. A bit like yourself, Basmo. You know what I mean? So I think he's could fight him at the end of this year. If he comes out relatively unscathed, if he beats him the same way he did last time, who knows? He could turn around and fight Dillian Whyte in February in 2021, and then you could get the Joshua fight in June.
Whereabouts do you think the fight would be if you're going to predict Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 3?
I think it'll be in Vegas again, to be honest, because Vegas is sort of opened back up the casino. So if anywhere is likely to host that fight, it'll be there. But they won't host that fight without fans because those gates in boxing are massive.
I know, it's very, very important. What about Katie Taylor? Where does Katie Taylor come into all this? Because this would be an unbelievable card for her to get on for Joshua versus Fury.
Yeah, I think so.
Any fighter,
before the lockdown, she was sort of scheduled to fight. What was that girl? Serrano, the other Serrano.
Yeah.
I think was it Amanda Serrano or Cindy Serrano? Whichever one she beat, it was the other sister she was scheduled to fight. And I think, you know, that's perfect fight to go as a co-main for that. But who knows? Katie Taylor could have 3 or 4 fights in that time. You know what I mean? Like, she likes to stay very, very active.
Yeah,
so
it was meant to be against Amanda Serrano.
Brilliant. So who knows whether she'll hold off for that. Katie likes to stay active. So, and who knows? She might be retired by that stage because, like, she could retire tomorrow. I don't know whether financially she can retire or not, but like, she could retire tomorrow. She's done it all.
I know, but just to be on that card, I think is something that a lot of people are going to want to be part of because it is going to be history making as well. But is there anything else to say about this, Ross? Before we sort of
we haven't said who we think is going to win.
Oh, sorry, you're right.
And then I suppose maybe we'll just have a quick run through the rest of the boxing heavyweight division. Like, it's more interesting than it's ever been. If you asked me 3 years ago, name 10 heavyweight boxers, like, I probably couldn't do it. And now I'm sitting there thinking, like, you know, you have Fury, Wilder, Joshua, and like Ruiz threw himself in there by being able to beat him. You know, you have Parker, you have Brown, you have Takham, you have White, you have all these like top guys. You have Baby Miller. Usyk is moving up. Usyk could be, you know, the best of all of them. I mean, yeah, like the heavyweight division is so exciting, and that's where the money is in boxing, in those heavyweight classes. So I'm very, very much excited to see it. I think there's going to be a lot of fights to watch. I'd like to see Usyk maybe fight Parker next, just because I think Parker's slightly smaller heavyweight. So it'd be nice to see Usyk sort of before he steps in there with, a giant. It'd be nice to see him fight someone a bit smaller.
Yeah, I think I read something now. This might be 100% correct. That Usyk is meant to be a mandatory challenger to Anthony Joshua at some stage as well. So there is stuff going on.
Apparently, like Eddie Hearn can write a letter to the boxing board to be like, we're going to make Joshua versus Fury for the undisputed. So the mandatory will have to wait, and like apparently that's okay sometimes. Well, I don't know. I think Dillian White's been like mandatory challenger for about 3 years now, so I don't know if he can make him wait. Also, like Dillian White seems like a character that might knock Eddie Hearn out if you don't want me have to wait.
Yeah, well, get money for nothing. It sounds good to me.
Well, Wilder was asked to take $5 million to step aside and let him not fight, and he was like, "No, I want $10 million to step aside." And then Fury's like, "I'm not giving him $2 million to step aside. I'll bleeding box the ears off."
Oh man, that's gas. Yeah.
Yes.
So what else can we? You see, the boxing's in a tough situation now. I've been watching Eddie Hearn's podcast with Bellew, and they had Dana White on, and obviously Dana White's after having 5, if not 6, events during this coronavirus, and there hasn't been any boxing fights happening. But is this problem now the way the UFC has totally just kept the train running? Do you think the boxers have been like, here, do you know what? No one wants to see me fight a journeyman anymore. Like, people want to see the biggest, the best, and now we're getting the biggest and the best. So who knows? We mightn't have gotten Joshua versus Fury over the line if this whole pandemic hadn't happened.
I think we still would have got Joshua Fury just because like it's too big not to make. Yeah, but I think it's too big not to make, and I think it was like there was a collision course. It was fitting 3 people into one ring. That was the problem with Wilder, Fury, and Joshua. And then once Fury convincingly beat Wilder, it was like, right, that's the fight they have to make. And in fairness, Fury calls out Joshua so often that like Joshua will look like a pussy if he doesn't take the fight. So he has to take the fight. And I don't think Joshua's a pussy. I more think like Eddie Hearn's like, maybe fight 2 more big paychecks before you avoid Fury.
Yeah.
So I do feel that, but who knows? We might get more competitive boxing than we've seen in the past. Barry, Joshua Fury goes down. Who walks out with all the belts?
That's the thing. That photograph after with the person with all the belts is going to be unbelievable.
Oh, absolutely.
At the moment, like we put a poll out the other day, and it was overwhelmingly Tyson Fury. I think at the moment Tyson Fury is the best in the world. I like both guys a lot, but and both I think both lads like each other. They've already started the back and forth right now. Tyson Fury's known for FaceTiming Joshua, saying he's gonna beat him. It's hilarious. Tyson Fury, what a character, and I think Tyson Fury is gonna get the win.
Yeah, so do I. I actually don't see any facet how Joshua can beat Fury. Like, how's he supposed to get it done? I don't see it. Like, people have been like, oh, he's good behind his jab and stuff like that. I was like, Joshua sort of like moves so statically compared to the way Fury moves. Fury's like so flowy in there, and he's so light on his feet. I was like, I think he's going to hurt Joshua and hurt him bad and hurt him early. I think he might knock him out with him in 4 rounds. Yeah,
and the more fights Fury gets in, the better he'll be as well.
Oh, 100%. Like he's a man who does better the more active he stays.
Yeah, and also Joshua at the moment is injured. I know that's not really going to play out later, but Fury's still going. He's getting them exercises in with the missus, you know. But also, Ross, it was announced today that Argo mate Dylan Moran's back in action on August 8th. It's going to be scheduled. Well, it's meant to be going down in Germany. We're going to have to get him back on as well soon to tell us all about it.
Yeah, we definitely will. Dylan's an absolute gentleman, and we'll make sure to be. We'll find out where, what time, how to watch it, and we'll let you all know how to watch him. He's an absolute gent.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that show we had with him as well. It was as if like we were already good mates beforehand.
I think he's actually one of the genuinely nicest people we've ever had on the show. Who was just like, he kept on complimenting us, which I thought was quite funny.
Yeah, he's a legend. He's a legend. Yeah. So we're going to move into the world of mixed martial arts as well. If you're enjoying the show, make sure to hit a like. In the comments, let us know who you think Joshua or Fury, and make sure to hit subscribe as well. Ross, we're going to move into the world of mixed martial arts. There's nowhere else to start, but Fire Island is happening. What you make of this? And did you see the photographs of the arena, and what you think?
Yeah, I think it looks great. Yas Island is a unbelievable place to hold an event. UFC have been there before. They've been to that like dome. I think it was for UFC 112, Silva versus Maya, and then on the undercard was actually Frankie Edgar beating BJ Penn. So there's a bit of history for you for those peeps.
Straight off the dome. Did you Google
straight
that?
off the dome. No. I remember because I was still having a shy fight against Maya.
I'm joking. If you get to the pictures though, like we were sort of sold the story that it was going to be.
It was on the beach. Yeah.
And people would be like in Hawaii, like what's the dress thing they wear?
Oh, I don't know, but I know what you mean. Yeah, I think everyone knows. Everyone knows what someone from Hawaii looks like.
Aloha.
A luau. I think that's what we thought it was going to be a luau. Yeah, but that's what I mean. We thought it was going to be a luau on the beach and like a roast pig's with an apple in his mouth there while the fires were in the octagon.
Yeah, that's what we were sold, and that's what the teachers were sort of saying. But it's obviously that was never going to happen. That it's in an arena. It looks great.
Yeah, no, it really, really does. Like, you know, the infrastructure that UFC have got the guys in Yas Island put in place seems incredible. Apparently, like, there's a 10-mile radius that will like only UFC personnel allowed. I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it goes down. It'll be interesting to see in the arena what sort of personnel will be there. Like, will there be some sheiks who have like a corporate box in the arena, or how is that going to work out? But the fight card they're after putting on itself is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, to kick it off, it's going to be UFC 251, which is going to be on Saturday, the 11th of July. 3 title fights in this card, man. We're going to have Ian Gary on the show in the build for this again. I remember I sent him the fight card, like what the rumor was, and he was like, "There's no way they're going to pull that off." But supposedly they pulled it off for us. Kamaru Usman's taking on Gilbert Burns, for the teammates taking on each other. For the welterweight title. For the featherweight title, Alexander Volkanovski's taking on Max Holloway, your mate, in a rematch. And then for the vacant bantamweight title, Peter Yan's taking on Jose Aldo. And then also Pedro Zan's on the card. Jessica Andrade's taking on Rosanne Mayunas.
So that's a number 1 contender fight as well.
Yeah, like this card's the real deal. It is the real deal.
It really, really is. Like, Fight Island's going to be absolutely insane. I do think that UFC more than pulled out of the bag on this occasion. Look, you have, as you said, Usman versus Burns. Has anyone been more active in the last 6 months than Gilbert Burns? He is training partners with the champ Kamaru Usman. And now I know I said Kamaru Usman's the daddy in that gym, and like I think he's going to win. But Gilbert Burns wouldn't have asked for the fight if he didn't think he could beat him. So that's a very exciting and intriguing matchup. How are they going to train for the fight? I'm very excited to see the countdown on that show. Then you have,
that'd be amazing, yeah.
Alexander Volkanovski. He used to weigh 240 pounds and play Australian rugby league. He's moved all the way down to featherweight. He's absolutely steamrolled people since he's come into the UFC. He's beat Jose Aldo and he's beat Max Holloway. Here's the rematch. Max Holloway is probably the greatest featherweight of all time. He's looking to get his goal back. I'm very excited to see that. That's definitely going to be a 5-round war. And then you have the vacant bantamweight title. You have Peter Yan, or Piotr Yan, undefeated in the UFC. It doesn't matter. Baz, why would you interrupt me for such semantics? You know, the absolute Russian striking machine going up against former UFC featherweight champion, the first UFC featherweight, Jose Aldo. Barry, how could you not be excited for that card?
John's great. Doing these shows is brilliant, and it's even better when there's a brilliant card to look forward to. And
it really is.
This is everything all over. Like, even the way it's going to be in a new arena, like we get to see everything behind it. It's buzzing.
Oh, it's going to be unbelievable. And then like Jessica Andrade versus Rosanne Muse, you have to be batshit crazy to not think that the winner of that is going to fight Ji Lang Wei or Wei Zhang Li, whichever way that name goes. You know what I mean?
But everyone's names there, yeah, man.
But like, unbelievable. And like, you have some other great fights coming up on Fight Island as well. We're going to get Calvin Kattar versus Danny Ige. I mean, that's a great fight. The winner of that could definitely fight Volkanovski next. Joseph Benavidez the following week is going to fight against Figueroa in a rematch for the flyweight title. Gastelum versus Hermansson on that. Then the following week, you get Robert Whittaker versus Darren Till. Shogun's going to fight Little Nog. Gustafson's going to fight for Doom. Like,
will you get to the biggest fight, will you?
Are you excited or what?
Will you get to the biggest fight?
What's the biggest fight?
UFC 252, Miocic versus Daniel Cormier Part 3.
Yeah, but that's not on Yaz Island, man.
I thought it was.
No. That's not in Yaz Island. They're hoping that in America they can have arena for that. That's TBA. To be announced.
TBA. The notorious TBA.
Yeah, no. If the Fight Island finishes off, I think with that last one I called out, it was
Till Whittaker,
yeah.
By the way, Darren Till has been on a mad one recently, hasn't he?
Just on the internet.
Yeah.
On the internet. Sure, he created a website, MikePerryIsABum.com.
Oh, man, he's just hilarious. Editing his face into people's faces. But also, for people that didn't know, Whittaker versus Darren Till was meant to happen in UFC Dublin. Oh, when you hear that now, it's kind of heartbreaking, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It was probably going to be the biggest event the country had this year, but sure.
Well, the Euros.
These things happen. Yeah, true. Well, it depends on whether we qualify or not.
Oh, very true.
Because, would you care about, Portugal versus Bosnia and Herzegovina if Ireland aren't in it?
I know, yeah. In a way, we're fortunate because it gives the players an extra year to qualify. But, Ross, I think also Bellator Dublin is still going to happen in Dublin. It's
October.
It's on October. I think that's going to happen because, if you look into things now, people are tending to go back to work now. The football's back today. The MMA is back properly. People are going back to work. All these meetups of people, there hasn't been much more new cases of coronavirus. I know 2 days ago there was no new deaths. I know yesterday there was a couple, but I think people are gradually get the training wheels are coming off the bike of life, and things are sort of coming back to normal.
Yeah, well, I think I haven't heard it's cancelled, which is sort of always nice, and it's sort of the next event on Bellator's schedule, which is nice on the website. Yeah. So it's still there, and I think they go to Milan the following week. I think it's definitely possible. You can always limit the arena to 5,000 fans. 5,000 Irish fans is the equivalent of 20,000 fans from anywhere else in the world. So I think it is possible to do. You can almost, only sell tickets in groups, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
that could sort of, make social distancing a thing.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. But did you get the email from the UFC saying, are you people applying for media credentials, send them on now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably what Bellator are going to do. They're probably going to send out to the media people. So I mean, but that'd be a great thing to come out of the darkness of all this situation and to go to Bellator Dublin. That could really.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely something to look out for, and hopefully it does stay on. You know what I mean? It'd be an awful shame to miss UFC Dublin and Bellator Dublin.
Yeah, well, if Bellator Milan isn't going to happen, definitely. I wouldn't say that's happened. But
we don't care about that one. I always find Bellator really gets a shite show.
Yeah, it doesn't get the ratings either.
I feel like it gets the kickboxing for whatever reason. Maybe there's a big kickboxing fan in Italy. I always find there's a K1 version of it there as well.
Yeah, it never really don't really care. Bar Bellator Dublin.
Well,
and London.
Italy don't have a big MMA star. Sakara still rolls out for that one, but he must be nearly 40. You know what I mean? And he has a record like a phone book.
Yeah, but they do have their future star Marvin Vettori who fights in the UFC.
Yeah, but he's American Italian, I think.
American Italian. Ross, I think that's probably the perfect segue to go into the last weekend's UFC action. Being headlined by Jessica Eye versus Cynthia Calvillo. I know going into we recorded last Monday, I think, if I'm correct. So so we got to see the whole build up. I went for Jessica Eye, and you went for Cynthia Calvillo. Obviously, by the end of the week, when I looked like she was nearly going to faint, making weight. I was like, right, there's one person going to be here, and it's going to be Cynthia Calvel. Ross, Cynthia Calvel won by decision. Our mate, she won by decision.
Can't believe you picked against her, man.
I know. I thought moving up a weight would be too much. Also, Jessica Oi was ranked number 1. It just made logical sense in my head. But like most of the time, I get my picks wrong. So, yeah, like damned if I do, damned if I don't. But
in fairness, most people were sort of slating this card as well. But like, the fights are actually fun enough to watch.
Yeah, the undercard was great.
The first three fights were finished in under a minute.
Yeah,
all of them.
That's exactly what you want. Andre Feely got a win as well against Charles Jourdain, which was very, very close. He is massive for a featherweight as well.
Yeah, he is.
Charles Rosa got the win over Kevin Aguilar by decision. Marvin Vettori.
He called out Bryce Mitchell.
He called
out
a
rematch.
Well, there we go. That's one that Bryce Mitchell's absolutely brilliant. He definitely, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Marvin Vettori eventually got the win by submission against Carl Robinson in the first round. Like he was waiting to get that win for a while. And
I'm actually delighted because like I almost think it was like insulting how much Carl Robertson missed weight by.
Yeah, and then
also, you know what's annoying about him? His name is Robertson, not Robertson.
Oh, sorry.
What name is that?
Yeah, Carl Robertson. And then Ross, what's next for Cynthia Calvel for people that want to know? She's after moving up to the flyweight division. As you said earlier, she's training with Team AKA now. So what could be on the horizon? She's after moving up to number 2 in the rankings, as you said.
Yes. Look, Cynthia Calvel, I don't think anyone's ever, come into the rankings at number 2 from a different weight class, shot up so high. But that's what happens if you beat number 1. I think she's going to fight number 1 next. I think she's going to fight Caitlin Chookagian, and they're going to fight out. And if Calvillo wins, she might get that title shot. I don't think Chookagian, if she wins, she'll get a title shot. I just think Shevchenko beat her so dominantly last time that no one wants to see that in a rematch. I think Joanne Calderwood is next to get that title shot, and I think if Calvillo can beat Caitlin Chookagian, I think that's where the women's flyweight is going to go next. And just shout out to Marvin Vettori. I'd love to see him get a top 15 opponent. He really took the Israel Adesanya when they fought, and I think he really deserved that.
I'd agree. Then this weekend, the UFC is going down again. Battle of the Big Dogs. Curtis Razorblades is taking on Volkov. Russ, before we get into that, there's just a couple of people I want to mention on the prelims that are fighting. Like, for instance, Roxanne Modafferi coming off a great win against Macy Barber.
That could be Calvillo's next fight as well, if the winner of Modafferi versus Lauren Murphy.
Yeah, then
just putting that out there.
Cordy Casey's on the undercard as well. Then Tisha Torres, the Tiny Tornadoes on that card as well. But like headlining the prelims is Clay Guida versus Bobby Green in the lightweight division. This is going to be a scrap, man.
Yeah, Bobby Green is like one of the most entertaining fighters you'll see in a very long time. He's happy enough to fight hands down. He's like, his head movement's great. He's like willing to trade in the phone booth. The only thing is that I think Clay Guida has slightly changed his fighting style and is fighting a bit smarter. He's willing to use a lot more of his wrestling to get the job done. So I expect Clay Guida to take him down and try and ground and pound him on the ground.
I'd go with that as well. Is Clay Guida still training with Uriah Faber?
Well, Clay Guida sort of has a camper van and just sort of goes around wherever it suits. But I think the last I heard with him, he is still with Team Alpha Male. So I think that's sort of his home per se. But like, I'm pretty sure he lives out of a camper van, that fella.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be too bad if you're living out in the great weather,
Yeah, well, if it's a nice camper van, it's fine.
Exactly. Joe who lived in a camper van as well. Wee Man from Jackass.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure like a few WWE wrestlers have like really nice camper vans and like they take their camper van from like show to show.
Yeah, I think there was just a stigma with camper vans back in the day that like you're poor or something.
Yeah,
but, like these days there's
but I'm sure some of them cost like fucking $500,000. You know what I mean? Like it's a house on wheels.
That's pretty cool though, in fairness.
Well, I'm pretty sure some have like jacuzzis and everything in them.
Okay, well that would be like unreal. I say some mad like bands would have all that stuff. That'd be crazy. But
yeah, go on.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
I was going to say next to have Jim Miller and a catchweight bout. Baz, you know why this is a catchweight 160?
Then Roosevelt Robertson.
You know on whose end?
Sorry.
I was like, do you know whose end's on? I know Roosevelt Roberts fought like 2 weeks ago.
Maybe he's slotting in. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, he fought Brock Weaver there recently,
Yeah.
and you got a rear naked choke against him. I think I actually picked Brock Weaver in that fight just because he's a Native American, and I thought like he has a cool look, so I was like he'd be cool.
Who'd you go
But
for this one,
no,
Ross?
I think Jim Miller will win submission on this one.
Yeah.
I think Jim Miller is like such a measuring stick in the lightweight division. Like if your jiu-jitsu is not on point, like he will definitely come and get you. And weirdly enough, like Jim Miller must have about 25 UFC fights, and
And the rest.
yeah, and the rest. And I think that he brought his son to his first ever fight, so I think he's almost like fighting for his family now. So big shout out to Jim Miller. Plus,
Yeah.
he seems like a lovely guy.
Yeah. Then I'll go Jim Miller as well. Then the fight after that is your brother's twin, Belal Muhammad, versus your twin, Lyman Good. What do you
Yeah,
expect
me and
from
Lyman good, same bod.
this? Yeah. Who are you backing for this one, man?
Oh, to be honest, I'm so unsure on this one because like both these are like very, very good grapplers. If I have to pick, I'm gonna go Belal Muhammad. I think every time he's sort of come up against someone very good, he's lost. So he fought like Vicente Luque, and he fought Jeffrey Neal, who are both like sort of top 15 welterweights. He's lost, but I feel like Belal Muhammad will be able to get the job done. I think it'll be sort of a wrestle heavy fight. But if it stays on the feet, Lyman Good has more knockout power.
I'll go with Belal because he's your brother's twin. Also in fighting as well, Raquel Pennington. She's back in action against Marion Renault. I'm going to go Pennington for this one. What about yourself?
No, I like Marion Renault on this one. I think she's the better striker of the two. And ever since Pennington lost to Holly Holm, like that must be it. You know what I mean? I was like, what's she left? What's she got left to fight for? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like she is she married or she's going out with Tisha Torres? She's on the card as well. Maybe they're keeping
She
each
is, yeah.
other.
But I feel like they can't both win. You know?
Yeah. Well, this is what we're here for. It's
I think Tisha Torres is going to win. So like, I don't think they can both win.
okay.
They're both not leaving. They're both not leaving Vegas happy.
Well, it'd be a good story if they did, right? No offense to Marion Renault. In the co-main event, Ross, Josh Emmett is taking on Shane Burgos in the featherweight division.
Yeah, this one actually could be very, very interesting. Shane Burgos is a great striker. He's willing to trade and bank, but Josh Emmett trained out Team Alpha Male.
He was on a good
He's got
streak there
heavy,
for a
heavy
while,
hands.
wasn't he?
Yeah, he actually was. He knocked out Bektic and Michael Johnson the last one. And before that, he got knocked out by Jeremy Stevens. But Josh Emmons also beat Ricardo Lanos. He's beaten some very, very high caliber guys. Burgos recently took a split decision against Gus Swanson and then knocked out Makwan and Mirakani. So I think I do favour Josh Emmett. He's just so big for a featherweight.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, that's going to get the job done.
Yeah, but not in height and width, definitely.
Yeah. He's a chunky monkey. I just think Josh Emmett hits so hard, and I think Burgos is hittable. And Burgos got knocked out by Calvin Catter, so that's who I'm picking.
Okay, I'll agree with that. Then in the main event, Curtis Blades is taking on Alexander Volkov. Russ, this is. I'm looking forward to this, and to be honest, like, I don't think the whole card's great, but this one's definitely one that a good win for either lad. They're there or thereabouts around the top, definitely in the top 5. Yeah, sure. Curtis Blades is ranked here number 3.
Yeah, well, these are two of the tallest fighters in the heavyweight division as well. Blades must be like 6'4", 6'5", and like Volkov is like 6'7". So two
and
big
lanky
here.
He's not a lanky 6'7" either. He's very mobile.
Yeah, he is. Well, I would call him lanky boy. He does move well.
Yeah.
Because he's a bit of a string being. Look, Volkov beat Greg Hardy his last fight, and he sort of beat him well. The only thing about this is that when he lost to Derek Lewis, he was sort of winning most of the fight, and then Lewis came back and smashed him. Curtis Blades has beaten everyone he's ever fought, not named Francis Ngannou. So
Volkov also beat Verdum as well.
He did, yeah. He knocked him out. I think he was actually losing most of that fight. And
that was in London, wasn't it?
Back. Yeah, it was. But I think Blades is going to be able to take him down and like hit him with those elbows, like the way he did to Overeem. and he was able to knock out Dos Santos, and he beat Shamil Abdurrahmanov as well by knockout. So I feel like he's able to get people down on ground and pound them, and that's how he's going to get the job done.
Yeah, when I watched back the Volkov fight against Verdum, it seemed like Volkov just weathered the storm until Verdum got tired and then won.
Yeah.
Whereas
exactly.
Yeah, whereas I don't think Blades is going to tire as much.
Yeah, well, especially considering Blades is almost always on the front foot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and his wrestling game is brilliant, and like he was able to knock out Ollie Nainuk, and he was able to just like take down Mark Hunt and stay on top of him 3 rounds. I feel like he's just going to take him down. Like, he's such a high level wrestler.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Blades as well on that one, man. Is there anything else to say about the fight card this weekend?
No, I think that's sort of it. I'm actually looking forward to this one. There's definitely a better card than last weekend on paper. But again, people don't fight on paper. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I think that's sort of me wrapped up. Baz, anything else to add in before you tell people to, like, share, subscribe?
This weekend as well, Will Surrey is taking on a Magic Rozansky in the EFM, the European Fight Masters for the Light Heavyweight Championship. So it's EFM 3 this Saturday, the 20th of June. I'm sure we'll find out what time that's on later on in the week, but that's set.
Yeah, hopefully we get a stream somewhere.
Yeah, that's going to be taking place in Poland, if I'm correct.
Yeah, if we can get a stream, we might do a swipe up for it or something. We'll see what the story is.
Yeah, definitely. There's Matthews Piscaraz as well, who fights in Ireland as well. He's on the card as well in the coming.
I think there's 3 SPG guys on the team altogether.
Yeah. So for people that are looking for some earlier fights, because as we know, the UFC when you're here in Ireland is on very, very late. So that sort of wraps things up, Ross. We covered the boxing game, the MMA game, and
things are heating up in the world of mixed martial arts.
Yeah,
and if you're looking for more great content on it, you have to subscribe to be here.
Yeah, exactly. And then next weekend it is Dustin Poirier taking on Dan Hooker as well. So we're going to be going over everything.
And how could you not return to watch that?
Exactly, man. Exactly. So that wraps things up, Ross. Thanks a million.
Yeah. So again, guys, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and as always,
stay energized.
Stay energized.